Hello, everybody. My name is Michael, and today I'm here with my friend Tony.
Yo.
And I'm trying out a new type of content. And little backstory on Tony: he's an up and coming musician who's been making music for almost 10 years now, but he's been putting music on the internet since 2018. He's responsible for songs such as Monster, Amnesiac, Properly, and Tragedy. He participated in the Jake Hill Rap Challenge and got shouted out by Jake for his song Evolve. And today I am joined by him.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really glad to actually do this kind of stuff because I've always thought it would be fun to do this kind of stuff, but I'm just glad that I'm actually able to go through with it.
Yeah,
So,
man, this is absolutely dope. This is technically my first ever interview, so this is pretty fucking cool. I won't lie.
so we were having our conversation about the Double J stuff, and I saw your tweet yesterday, and I was like, I don't really know because I had like a few kind of minor questions, but I didn't really want to spend too much time on that.
Yeah, I
So
mean, fire away.
yeah, so my first question I have for you is who would you say is your favorite YouTuber or streamer or like content creator in general? It could be like within the community, quote unquote, or not within the community. It could be whoever.
When it comes to YouTube, I'm a big zombies guy, and I have been since forever. So I'm a big Mr. T Lexify fan.
Yep.
He's always good vibes and absolutely just straight up chaos. I just love it, and he's
Yeah.
super he's super funny and he acts stupid, but like he's really like a smart dude, and
Hmm.
like I aspire to be a lot like him. Bro, super positive, consistent quality. You love
Yeah.
to see it. So when it comes to YouTube, definitely him.
I got more zombies questions later on because I saw your
Yes,
Instagram story the other
sir.
day. Like follow up sort of question. Do you like Mr. Raffle Waffles?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm so glad he's back.
I
I
know.
watched his return video. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of montages. And then he started singing and dancing. I'm like, what is going on? That,
What
that was hilarious.
that
Yeah.
I watched that and I was like, what world or what year are we living in? Is it 2018 again? Because like I remember when the Z House and Black Ops 3 were popping off. I was like, wow, there is so much zombies content, and then it like cut off for a bit, and then Black Ops 4 was like, could you see the return of the Z House? And it just
Yeah, that fell flat. Holy. Whew.
yeah, Black Ops 4 was a bit of a nightmare to be honest.
It just sucks, man. Because, like, I don't know. I was really into BO4's multiplayer for like a month. And I
Yeah.
played so much of it that I burnt out. And I'm
Hmm.
like, all right, I'll play zombies. And I played 9 to death. I played Blood to death. I did not like Voyage. Classified didn't feel like it was new enough. And then I could consistently hit round 50 on 9 and Blood of the Dead. And I'm like, well, shit. I don't want to do these Easter eggs. I mean, I did
Hmm.
nines, but I don't want to do Bloods because it's ass.
Bloods is AIDS.
I don't even want to touch Voyage. Then I was like, yo, the Rush mode was fun. So I played that, burnt out of that too. And then I think it was what Dead of the Night came out,
I
and
think it
they had like
was
no marketing.
yeah. It was no, it was Ancient Evil then Dead of the Night.
No, it was Dead of the Night first. I
Was
remember
it?
that for sure. I remember, yeah, because they released that and they're like, it's a prequel.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm
my
like,
bad, my
and
bad.
I'm like, wait, what? And they have like a celebrity cast, and they didn't even like say anything about it until the day it came out. And I remember even watching Lex's video. He's like, wait, they have all these people and they didn't say anything about it. And I'm like, I guess it's time for new DLC. And I played it, and I'm like, yo, I like this map. And then I my first playthrough, I got to round 30. My second playthrough, I started accidentally doing the Easter egg. And then my third playthrough, I beat the Easter egg. My
Wow,
fourth, I beat it again. My fifth was the last time I played.
wow. This was Dead of the Night or Ancient Evil?
That was Dead of the Night. I only played Ancient Evil for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Oh really? What did you think of that
Yeah,
map?
I was I had Nick over because he never played Alpha, Omega, or Tog. So I let him play those for the first time because I
Hmm.
only came back to play Alpha Omega, and that lasted what 2 weeks, and then Todd
Yeah.
came out. I played that for like a week, and that was that.
Hmm.
But he played those, and then he's like, "What's Ancient Evil like?" I'm like, "I don't remember if I played that." And we looked at the stats: 0 games played. I'm like, "Did I skip the whole DLC?" So I played it. I'm like, this is the best of Black Ops 4. This is what everyone says is the best map. I had more fun on 9 and Blood. And Blood is controversial as fuck. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yikes. Like I figured everything out right away. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do the gauntlet thingies. I didn't really care enough. And I've seen that like 2 of them are fucking ass. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, what is this is y'all's champion? All right, bro.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I want to move on to the next question, but it's kind of building off the point where you're talking about Nick. How did
Yeah.
you, when and like how did you meet your like fellow PA boys, Connor and Nick?
This is an interesting story that not a lot of people know, so I'm glad you asked. So it was late 2018. No, no, no. It was no early to mid 2019. I remember I was at work and I dropped my first album, which was or my really only album because there's one that's just a compilation, but it's called Otherworld, and comparatively now it's fucking ass. But I keep it up as like a reminder that that's another thing that people don't know is the zero in my name is more than it just being a zero, but like it reminds me that I started with like no knowledge of rap, no idea what the fuck I was doing with rap, none of that, no producing, no idea. So I keep that up as like a reminder.
I
Like if I can do it, anybody can. That's the way I look at it.
That's actually really fun. Cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, I wished I was like talking to people. I'm like, do y'all know why I do that? Do y'all know why that's still there? But yeah, no. So I wasn't on Twitter for that. But then I did my 3 EPs, Negative, Between, and Peak, which is my technical second album, but I don't count it as like a second album because I just released 3 EPs. And by the end of the third one, I'm like, oh, I should just put all these together all in one place because it would make sense. But for Negative is when I came on to Twitter for the first time ever in my entire life, and it was to talk about that and like find new ways to promote my music because I had no idea how to like spread my word. And I start to see people in the Double J community. I start to see some people. Some notable names were Fade, Wubs. Or I mean, he was never really like a part of the community, but like people like involved. I saw people like Chris or CRISPR,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
CRISPUR. Him, like a lot of the people who were like zombies and Double J, a lot of those people. And I didn't really like talk to a lot of them, but I remember when Fade put out like Spaceland or something, I did like a review tweet on it, and that was kind of like my in to like getting to know people in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And one day at work, I get added to this group chat called 666. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So at the time, it was Liren for people who know him. He and Fade had came up with the idea of having a cipher, which is for those who don't know what a cipher is, it's just a big old rap song with a bunch of people. And in the group chat, it was me, Fade, Liren, Nick, Wubs, Abby, and someone named Coleridge. Not a lot of people know Cole because he's like a ghost. But yeah, we were all in this group chat, and the plan was to do like a cipher. We wanted to figure out a style. We were gonna have Abby maybe sing a hook, but then we ended up doing a full rap route. And also Hertz GG or Joseph Hertz or Sam Hertz, the dude who produced How It Should Have Been for me. He was in that chat too. That's how I met him as well, all from this massive out of the blue group chat, and I was like so honored to be like brought into this. And then this weird I am Nick's kid says that he lives in PA too, and I'm like, no way. So I checked out his music. It was definitely interesting, but I'm like, well, dude seems like he's at the same level as me, so like it would be really cool if we could like get something working.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him and I hit it off right away.
Yeah.
Like him and I hit it off like no other. Like the only lasting bit like good like super close friendship from that time in my life is literally with Nick. Like I'm still friends with a lot of those people, but like Nick and I like completely inseparable since then.
Mm-hmm.
We hopped on Fortnite, and I hadn't played Fortnite in so long at that time, so I was ass and he was really good. And he was like explaining the lore behind some of his music, and we were talking about how we got into music, what our parents think of it, this, that, and the other thing. And we hit it off right away. And I'm like, well, yo, I just copped these 2 beats from Z-Wall, and the beats that I copped were the one for our song "To the Moon" and then the one for "Properly." I bought them the same day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had wrote "Properly" first, and then I'm like, yo, I had this other one. I'm kind of like drained out of writing. I'm like, well, shit, bro, you want to hop on it? And that was the beginning and our start in making To the Moon and our plan. We had like 2 months between when we met online and when we met in person, which is the same day the song came out. There were 2 months of time in between there to work on the song, get closer with each other, and I started meeting, some of his friends. He started to get to know some of mine, and it was just really dope. And we came up with this cool song, and my sister did the art for it, and it was fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were gonna meet at the Double J concert in Philly for the SOS tour,
Mm-hmm.
and we see that some weird fucking meatball guy who got a Darko tattoo was gonna be there, and he's like, "Yo," like he DM'd me. He's like, "Yo, do you want to like meet up and hang out?" I'm like, "Shit, dude, sure." And we did, and I'll be honest, like when I had the video somewhere on my phone of me meeting Nick for the first time. It was super dope, and one of the first things he said to me was, he's like, "You're so short," because he's like 5'10", 5'11". I'm like
Mm-hmm.
5'6". So I'm like, man, fuck. But yeah, we met, we hugged, and we were like first in line. And then Connor shows up, and we meet him for the first time, and he brought his buddy Ryan, and then Zach showed up because I was DMing Zach. I'm like, yo, like let me know when you're here. I'll make sure to save you a spot because he was running late, and I know Jordan and Darko were looking for him,
Mm-hmm.
and he showed up, and like it was the 5 of us like hanging out for a while. It was super dope, and then Nick and I were closer than ever, and we had met this Connor dude, and over time we started talking to Connor more, and then we all reunited about actually it was about like 4 months after. It was like early January, right after Properly came out. They came to my place during my winter break, and we all met up and hung out. And since then, we've been the PA boys. That was the very beginning. That day, because Connor was always unsure if we like really fucked with him or not. Because like we made Day of the Dead, and Nick and I were already like tighter than fucking anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like we liked Connor, we just didn't talk to him as much at the time. But like then we started talking to him more and more, and he came around more and more. And then when we all hung out in person, that sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Like since then, it's been the 3 of us, ride or die, and it is a once in a lifetime friendship, once in a lifetime story. Everything was hitting perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was perfect time, perfect place. Everything like it couldn't have gone any better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, from like when I first like started like talking to you guys, like you guys seemed like you guys had been friends since you guys were like kids. Like you said that you weren't friends for very long. What's it been like? A little over a year since you've been friends with Nick? Did you say?
Yeah, it's been a year and maybe 4 months.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you guys seem tight, and I gotta respect
Yeah.
that. And it's cool how you can like meet people online and actually become close friends like that, though.
Yeah, and that's weird for me because I never like had really like online friends. Like I had some friends on like Xbox that we'd all hop on like Call of Duty every so often, but like the closest thing I had to another friend was his name was Speedy or Chain or Oscar, and him and I were pretty close for a while. But like that was the closest thing to I had to like an online friend, and we had considered like talking about like meeting, but like nothing was ever really serious. We were both really young, but
Mm-hmm.
like Nick's the first online friend that like I genuinely got to like meet and establish a real life friendship with. Now
Mm-hmm.
he's not an online friend; he's my fucking brother, and like
Mm-hmm.
same with Connor. We're ride or die. Like I'll fucking take bullets for those two any day.
That's fucking tight. I like that. I respect that.
Hell yeah! Thank you.
All right, so we're only on like question 2 of like 20 or whatever it is, but that's fine.
Hell yeah! Keep them coming.
Um, My next question. So on July 18th of 2020, you released Revolve, and then 4 days later, Jake Hill announces the winner, and I want to know what was going through your head right before he said Jimbo's name and song when he announced yours. What was going through your head when he announced that he liked Evolve and shouted out your name?
I'm like, I heard the first two entries. I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting picked. I heard the other. I'm like, yo, these dudes go hard. Like, no cap. Like, I knew mine was a little obscure comparatively, and that was the whole point. And I've never been one to try and like bite Jake's sound. Like, I know there's like a few songs in mine that you could say maybe sound like Jake Josh style, but like I've
Mm-hmm.
never been like purposely like, oh, I need to sound like Jake, I need to sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I always like try to take things and twist them into my way, and my way is literally try to be as contrarian as possible, but like still like, still have quality. Like, I'm not going too far outside the box where it's like trying too hard. But Evolve was probably the that and Monster are 2 points in my career so far where I've really like, I feel like I've pushed the envelope, and in a way that if it didn't get received as well, like it would have easily flopped, and I would have been like, that's fine. Like, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But neither of them did. And I was like, I'm listening to these two other people. I'm like, well, I know people like Evolve, but it's not about whether they like it or not. It's about him when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to the competition. But like the fact that other people liked it, that was enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear these other two. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'm not getting fucking mentioned. It's
Mm-hmm.
good. It's over for me. But I stayed in the live stream. I was there start to finish, supporting everybody. And then he's like, all right, we'll pick the winner. And I'm like, all right, cool. So it's not me. He's like, wait, no, we'll do one more. We'll play one more honorable
Mm-hmm.
mention. And I hear, I'm like, wait, hold on, whoa. And I'm like, no fucking way. It was like right as my mom walked in the room. She's like, wait a minute, was that yours? I'm like, I don't know. And then he plays it, and I'm like, no fucking way.
That's
Like
correct.
that. And that's funny enough, they played that, and then they showed that Jimbo was the winner. Jimbo only joined the stream right as my song started playing.
Yeah.
So out of all those, like, mine was the first one that the winner heard
Mm-hmm.
because he was late, he was busy. We talked about that recently, and I'm like, that's so convenient because like him and I are boys now.
Yeah.
But like that's fucking nuts. I was like, yeah, no, I'm cool with the fact that I don't. There's no fucking chance for me getting this. I'm not the type to get my hopes too high.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have confidence, but I like to keep it on. I like to keep my shit on the low because it just makes, if there's any disappointment possible, it makes it as minuscule as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But
For sure.
I was losing my shit, dog. No cap.
There's honestly nothing wrong with that because like even like it obviously wasn't my song obviously, but like seeing the way that that played out, it felt like a dream sequence to be honest, because like it's like
Dude, I
okay,
know.
we're done, we're gonna move on to the actual winner. Okay, we'll do one more, and it's like, oh wait, and it's actually yours.
Dude, I don't think that I would take the situation that I got over winning any day because of just the way that it played out.
It was really cool though because like I feel like every like person who has like who has like a I don't know how to word it, like a name I guess within the community was watching
Yeah.
that stream. Like I saw Nick was in chat, Z-Wall was in
Mhm.
chat, KMD was in chat, I think Connor was in chat, you were in chat
Yeah.
obviously, and then you said Jimbo was in chat as well. I was in
Yeah.
chat, I was watching that, and that
Dan was there.
Dan was
Zach
there.
was there. I know Becca came in at one point. Jordan came in at one point.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was crazy seeing how many people, because like I know that definitely Zach, Dan, KMD, and I think there was one more. I think it was Nick, wasn't it? Wasn't Nick there for that?
Yeah.
I feel like that I know that at least those four were there when your name got called, and I was freaking out seeing all the support in chat, and I thought it was really cool.
It was honestly one of the best feeling moments. And like, I took the time to go and thank literally everybody on Twitter because I've always told myself that because of starting from nothing and all that, like any sort of like real support that I get, I'm gonna make sure that it's known that like the love is coming straight back.
Yeah.
And especially in times like these, like I literally was just being a negative, stupid son of a bitch before I came on this stream. So like or before I came on this video because I was having a little moment with my mom and like I was being kind of negative and I caught myself and she pointed it out and I'm like I need to fucking like I try so hard all day to be as positive as I can be and sometimes you get lost in it,
Mm-hmm.
especially with like COVID and we were talking about school. I was talking about
Yeah.
how I go to school for like IT and like I hate school. I've always hated school, but like I
Yeah.
am lucky to have, my parents help me pay for it and like I could never, repay them for that and like have the opportunities that I have to have like a decent family that doesn't, there's no abuse, like we're all supportive, like,
Yeah.
she like there's we're all in a really good spot,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's easy to get caught up in the negatives and I did that tonight and I always, whenever I do that, and nowadays, this time of year, it's easier, but like whenever I do, it's kind of rare. And I always like to think about that zero. And I always like to think about times like Evolve where I took the time to thank every single person who tweeted at me because I wanted everybody to know that like this good mood that I'm in, regardless of things that may be putting me down, that's not me, that this is you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did the work, yes, but you guys pushing it as hard as you did and tagging Jake and tagging the hashtag, like you guys doing that makes everything, like even if it was one person, that means so much to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that y'all went fucking crazy on it, like I needed it to be known that I appreciate every single motherfucker who's been there for me, even if we aren't cool like that anymore. Whether it's people like, Liren or like Monzi, where like we aren't as close as we were at one point, and to the point where, maybe we're not even close at all. Maybe we don't like talk or like whatever. There's tons of, people that come and go out of your life. Like,
Yeah.
there's always going to be some sort of respect that I have for you, regardless of what you've done, what you said, where we stand. I will always appreciate that kind of shit. And
Mm-hmm.
Evolve, that moment was one of the biggest points for me. Like everyone was just going fucking crazy. I got
Mm-hmm.
messages on messages. Honestly, I was living the high life. And then I drove over to Wawa and I got like a protein shake that's like chocolate and it tastes really good. And I got some goldfish to like celebrate. And I'm like, yeah, this is the life.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was definitely a very special day, and I was really glad to see, at least because like I didn't know, like I guess I shouldn't say that. I've seen their names around sometimes, but I didn't like know any of the winners, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is fine. And then he called your name, and I was like, wow, this is fucking sick. I can't imagine what he's going like what he's thinking right now because this is bananas right now.
Yeah, man. That shit was crazy. And I know Jimbo had a similar experience that he states to this day that that was one of the craziest times of his life, getting his name called and his song played. Like him and I can relate to that. Like we both had that shock moment, and it's nice to be able to say that I think we both really deserve that, and I'm glad he won. Like I was low key like I posted on Twitter the morning before. I'm like, if you don't get picked, don't be a bitch, like like
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay to
be a
not
good sport
win.
about it.
Like you got to be a good sport whether you're an honorable mention or you're not mentioned at all. Like
Hmm.
the fact that you tried is enough.
Yeah,
The the fact that you got any support is enough.
yeah. So I want to go back to the idea of Evolve itself. During the creation of it, like what was like when Jake announced the rap challenge over like the next, I think wasn't it like 3 weeks or something like that, where
Yeah.
you had time to make your song or whatever. I want to know what was going through your head, or like what your game plan was when it came to making a song when it turned out to be Evolve.
Funny enough, he announced it when I was at my aunt's, the same aunt who came over tonight and hung out with us for my birthday dinner. I was over at her place. He announces this, and I'm like, Oh, I'm going hard in the paint. I'm gonna do my thing where like I'm not gonna stick with just one thing. I'm gonna do rap. I'm gonna sing. I'm like, should I do metal? I'm like, yeah. I wrote the whole song that in like an hour. I
Wow.
wrote all the lyrics and structured everything in an hour, and I'm like, all right, when I get home, it's time to crack out some production, lay down some, lay down what I got. And then I spent the next 2 weeks just, figuring out exactly where I wanted to go production wise. And I accidentally used the Pinecone Gang melody without knowing because Ghost put it in one of his drum packs. I'm like, oh, yo, this goes hard.
Yeah.
And I don't remember Pinecone Gang. I'm surprised anyone fucking does. That
Hmm.
shit's like a million years old at this point. And everyone's like, yo, you used the Pinecone beat. I'm like, no, I made the beat. It just happens that the melody was in one of Ghost Pack. It's not even named the Pinecone Gang melody. It has some other like obscure name. It's one of his drum packs from forever ago. But I was like, yo, this goes hard. So I wrote the entire thing in a note that night, and just I'm like, I need I had a BPM clicker on my phone because as a instrumentalist, I like to have like the metronome on my phone. I figured out the BPM right off the bat, and I was just practicing it while I was like sitting on their couch. And like just fucking chill, boy. I don't believe in anybody. I'm like, oh, yo, 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 yo. And then I started like thinking of like the aesthetic for it after I got a bunch of the production done. I'm like, I want some crazy like staticky shit.
Hmm.
And I had posted on Instagram like right around the time that I decided the theme. I posted some weird static, and people were like, "What the fuck does this mean?"
Hmm.
And I like to pre-plan. So like I tell people like watch closely about what I post before I release because like I might post something 2 months in advance and it's gonna make sense later. Like I kind of take that from the zombies thing where like shit doesn't make sense right away. I like to try to apply that to the music, add some mystery to it.
Yeah.
And then I got the cool static aesthetic theme for the cover and for the lyric video, which then turned into a music video, which I'm like I need to go all out for this. And
Hmm.
the main thought in my head was so many people are gonna rap, just rap.
Hmm.
So many people are gonna sing, just sing. Maybe a person or two might do some metal shit, but it'll probably just be just metal shit.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, I know I'm capable of doing all three,
Yeah.
and I have 1 minute to show that. And rap for me has always, since the beginning, since I started with nothing, the whole point is that I took this on as a challenge. Being a rapper, being this Tony, quote unquote, as like an artist, being Tony has always been about it being a challenge. And every day of being Tony since the inception of it has been a challenge, figuring out, how to produce, how to write like this, how to figure out this and that and the other thing. And that was probably the too long don't read of my career.
Hmm.
Of just like I'm a wild card. I do weird shit. I'm fucking obscure as fuck, and I have no idea if it's gonna work. That was that.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair, but you mentioned about like having the metronome on your phone.
Yeah,
So I've talked to a few people within the community. I feel like one thing that this community is really good at is inspiring people to do what they want to do. And I think that usually starts with at least trying to make music.
yeah.
And so I have kind of a sort of two-parter here. So for the first part, if there was anybody watching who wanted to start making music, what would be like one big tip or like one big piece of advice that you would want to give them so they can at least start off on the right foot?
All right, I got a huge one right here, and it's kind of a mix of like no shit, but at the same time, it trickles down into stuff that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay true to yourself, but you got to do shit by the book. So I know that I literally was just talking about how I don't do it the normal way. I do shit that's pretty obscure, at least in regards to what I'm used to and what people around me are used to. Like when it comes to your creativity, go butt fucking crazy. Like go mad with creativity. But when it comes down to the technical aspect, I talked about it a little bit earlier before. There is such thing as going too far outside of the box. You need to stick to the basics. You need to rap to a metronome. You need to figure out BPMs that you like. You need to find type beats that you like or learn to produce. And I see one of my most frequently asked questions is, how do you produce? It's watch YouTube videos, get FL Studio, literally just figure it out. Nobody taught me. I just did shit and it worked. Like, you got to start somewhere. So stay true to yourself. Write about how you feel. Really get into it. And as time goes on, you'll learn how to express it better. That's one thing that I always had a problem with, is I thought that my writing was too shallow.
Hmm.
And with what I've been writing recently, I feel like I just keep getting deeper and deeper, and it makes more sense. And it's really feeling fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
So start by staying true to yourself when it comes to your creativity, but don't go too far outside the box.
Okay.
You can be creative, but if you don't know how to do something, either learn how to do it or don't do it.
Okay.
Like I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but like, if you don't know how to make trap metal, don't just do it.
Yeah.
Like, research,
Yeah.
like, do it by the book. Learn how to distort your shit right so that it's not too fucked up. Learn the methods that you need to, and then you take those methods and then you form it in a way that's true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. People might think, well, that's, you're just learning someone else's stuff. No, you're learning the basics, the rudimentary things that you need, and you're forming it into what you need. And if people don't like it, that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
because someone eventually will, when you start getting the right shit going. It's going to stand out. It's going to stand out to be you. I see so many people biting styles. No offense to anybody. Not going to say names, but like, we're all victims of it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be like your idols.
Yeah.
That's fine. Don't be like your idols. You don't want to be like them. Like, on the
Mm-hmm.
real, I've gotten to talk to my idols. I don't want to be like them. I love these guys. Love the people that I look up to. Trust me, I think that they're some of the greatest people on this planet. But I don't want to be them.
Yeah.
What a lot of them do inspires me, but I gotta stay true to myself. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be the next Josh A. Not trying to be the next J Kill. I don't even want to be the next Darko. I don't want to be the next Jordan Bell. I want to be the first T0ny.
Yeah. That's
And I'm gonna learn what I can from those guys and other artists that I like Nothing Nowhere, bands like Beartooth. Like, I'll take what I can from them and from the vast, internet, fucking tons of shit that you can figure out on there. And then also just fucking around on my own free time and just figure out what I got, and then make shit and see if people like it. And it's always going to be a gamble.
Mm-hmm. I think that's definitely a kind of, like you said, like a kind of obvious mentality, but it's also something that it feels like people forget sometimes, is just be yourself, and but don't go too
Yeah.
far outside the box. Yeah, that's a really good mindset of that. So then the second part of that, like kind of based off of making music, how would you describe, like, do you have like a clear cut like process you go through when making music, where you have like create the instrumental and then write lyrics, or do you just kind of jamble it up whenever you're doing something?
It usually goes one of two ways. There's times where it goes outside the box, but to keep it short and sweet, it goes one of two ways. It's either I'm scrolling through melody samples or I'm playing something on guitar. And whenever I do that, I find the right thing that fits my mood at that moment. Sometimes I work on shit when I'm sad. Sometimes I'm upbeat, but I want to channel something that made me sad because I know that it's something that I need to get off my chest eventually. Sometimes I'm angry or I was angry. And I usually, most times, like 60% of the time, will start with the instrumental. And before the instrumental is done, I'll start writing for it. And then I'll write with it as I make more of the instrumental, and then they'll just like kind of catch up to each other, and then they're both done.
Hmm.
And then obviously recording last, but I it's usually starting with the instrumental, but occasionally, maybe like that 40% of the time, I'll get random lyric ideas, random song ideas, maybe when I'm not home, most of the time when I'm not home, or when I can't actually work on stuff. And I'll write like a whole hook, or I'll record a whole voice memo of like a whole flow going over something. and then I'll just play that on repeat and find, either a beat that I've already made, or I'll make a brand new one to fit on top of that, and then start writing that more as I produce more, and then eventually they catch up. I like to do them kind of simultaneously, but it's one or the other that I start with. And
Hmm.
then there's the very, very rare occasion of I write an entire fucking song like Evolve from start to finish on my notepad, and then I just have to come up with an instrumental on the fly.
Yeah. I don't know why, but when you mentioned like the recording last part, I just thought about just some stupid idea about some guy who doesn't even think about the lyrics or the instrumental. He just hums the entire melody for the entire part. I don't know
Oh,
why.
people do that. Charlie Puth does that,
Does
and
he?
people like him. Like I watched a video of him and Kenny Beats. Kenny Beats worked with like people like Denzel Curry,
Yeah.
Ski Mask, the Slump God. He's
Hmm.
great. I
Yeah.
love Kenny. Um, Charlie Puth like randomly like hummed a melody and sent it over to Kenny on a live stream. They were like on FaceTime, and then Kenny like worked on like he auto tuned it, and it didn't take much because Charlie's got like perfect pitch and everything. But
Yeah.
that, and then they worked on producing together, and they added like counter melodies, and like they came up with like random shit after just a random voice memo sent to Kenny of Charlie humming,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
Hmm. Like
So like some people like them are crazy. They're
yeah.
they're fucking nuts.
Kenny is just built different when it comes to making beats. It's like genuinely unfair how good he is at that.
Damn straight.
All right, so I saw your tweet. I think it was yesterday or earlier today, where it was like you were talking about the situation,
Yeah.
and you said something about why you distance yourself or like you go ghost for a while or something like that, and it
Yeah.
kind of made me think about stuff that problems or an issue that I've had, which is burnout. And I was wondering if you've ever really had to deal with bad burnout and how you've overcome that when it comes to making music.
Dude, burnout is literally one of the most common feelings you will probably have as a musician. And maybe it just feels really common, but like when it hits, it hurts. Like I'll say that. Right when the facade, like making the facade, I was burnt out. Like right before it, and like literally the week before it released, I got like all of it done because I was like, I had all the stuff written. I was excited to work on it, but like I had recording burnout. Like I had
Oh
recorded
yeah.
like all of what was Sandman Volume One at the time, and I was ready for that, but then I didn't do it, and it's a good thing I didn't. And we'll get to that eventually, I'm sure, but what it really took for me was like I was really hard on myself. I'm like, I know I need to record and I feel bad not recording, but like I need to record, but like I don't want to.
Hmm.
And what it really took was really taking some time away from everything. Don't write, don't produce, like do something else, maybe for like 3 days. And then when I opened up FL Studio for the first time after those 3 days, I was like, all right, let's get this shit fucking going. And I was knocking it out. I was feeling great. I felt really confident,
Hmm.
and especially with shaking. I recorded all shaking at like 2, 3 in the morning. I was
Hmm.
just so ready after taking. So like I took a bunch of time off of recording, but like taking a big like step away from everything brought me 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
And then during my absence recently, I was burnt out then too. I had been producing so much and writing so much, and I have so much planned, and so much on the way that's going to happen before the end of the year. But then I also have school, and then now I got my job back, and like I'm like, oh boy, all right, I'm getting to that point again where like now I'm about to burn out at everything. So I need to sacrifice stopping one thing so that I can not just be like, I don't want to do anything and then fall behind everywhere. And that one thing I needed to stop with music because that's what I was working on the most. So I took a lot of time in focusing on school and now work. And now that I'm back to the music, literally just like the past 2 weeks, I've been back and back into it. And that took like basically 2, 3 weeks off of touching anything. I just wasn't working on it.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And one thing that really stood out to me was thinking back to the facade period, but also there's this really great artist. His name is 50 Landing. He's
Mm-hmm.
worked with people like Breakins before.
Yeah.
He's great. He at the beginning of quarantine took 5 weeks off, and he pointed that out. And he's like, "It's okay to do that." And he hasn't dropped anything in so long, but like he's like, "It's okay to like take that time because when you come back, you're gonna hit that stride better than ever." And the night before my break, I was on a video call with Jordan X Bell for like over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that, and he had talked about how you got to take a step back to take steps forward. And we were really talking about burnout and like what that does. And like he was burnt out for a bit, but now he's getting ready to come back stronger than ever. I mean, his
Mm-hmm.
snippet of testing alone is some of the best shit I think that you can hear from him out, in the public area now.
Agreed.
And it really is like, people say you gotta work on what you love every single day, and you work every day and you're gonna get better. I disagree with that so hard. It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the practice every day thing. I say practice a bunch one day, take a day off, and you're gonna think about that hunger that you have to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna think about that hunger of, oh man, the next time that I open up, I'm gonna write this, or I'm gonna produce this, or oh, I heard this song recently that's making me feel this kind of way, or oh, this happened in life was making me feel this kind of way. And you gotta like tease yourself, and like it's weird, like psychology. You gotta tease yourself into wanting to come back, but you have to hold yourself off at the same time. It's so weird. It's like, I guess the best analogy that you could give it is you have, it's like having a kid, which is weird, I guess, is, your kid wants a toy, but to get the toy, he's got to wait in the car. And, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And when you get there, you finally get that relief, and the wait was all worth it. It's really just a giant fucking game of patience.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Nick has been in that spot too. He wasn't working on shit for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and only recently, him and I both at the same time came into our strides, and now we have so much going on. And I think it really is. It's okay to, even when you have an active status, as someone like him, Connor, or I, like I know that we're supposed to be constantly working, or at least that's what everyone says. No, you don't. Like you're working every day just by being.
Yeah.
When you're an artist, you're every day, everything that you process is helping your art. So it's not always about writing, producing, recording, just existing and experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
That's working enough.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel that guilt of not opening up that fell that day, or not writing a bar that day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to write every day, you can. But just, when you do reach that point where you're feeling a little stale of it, for the love of God, take a step back, because if you burn out too hard, then it's gonna take longer for that hunger to come back.
Yeah.
It's weird psychology. I'll say that.
No, but I get that though, because like I experience a lot of that with YouTube. Because I've been making YouTube videos since before Black Ops 3 came out. So I mean,
Heard that.
I was like, well, no, I've been making videos for longer. When I was younger, I made like Lego stop motion videos. When I got my PS4, I started making like GTA videos, and then Black Ops 3 came out. I did more videos on that. I did a lot of like, I didn't have a good computer at the time, so PlayStation had this like editing software that I would use. It was really bad. It was slow, unresponsive, very hard to like subtitle things properly, and I still would try, and it was fun, and then I got burnt out, and then it was fun, and then I got burnt out. And so over like the few years that I've been on like YouTube, making YouTube videos, whatever kind of content it was, I had to like find new ways of like pushing myself to want to make new types of content, you know? And I think that's where I want to go with this kind of stuff with the interviews. Because, like, getting this kind of stuff is a way different type of content where I versus where I'd sit down at my computer and edit for however many hours, and then but with this I can just sit down, have a conversation with somebody, and see how they feel. But then I feel like that's yeah, like you said, it is weird psychology where you just gotta like find new ways to keep yourself motivated.
Exactly. And I can relate to a lot of the YouTube thing. I did YouTube for a long time. Before I was Tony, I was at the moment Tony. ATMT was the channel name. I'm sure you could probably still find it. Actually, I think I have like everything private. I don't remember, but like there was that. There was like Sandman Gaming was one. I had like tons of stuff. I was all about like I was back in the day like BO3, Fortnite, like
Yeah.
like early Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that was another thing was like I burned out of editing so quick, and I can edit well,
Yeah.
but like I ended up, dude, I burned out so quick, and that made me want to stop. And I got to points where like I had consistent traction, and a lot of it ended up coming from somewhere where I didn't expect was live streaming. So now live streaming for me, when it comes to that type of content creation, I always considered doing like podcasts and like Q&A interviews, stuff like this, but I never had anybody to do that with for a
Mm-hmm.
long time. But like live streaming was where it was at for me. But like trust me when I say I feel that burnout when it comes to like editing and making YouTube videos,
Mm-hmm.
especially with like how shitty the YouTube algorithm is and like
Yeah.
how fucked up all that is. Like it's rough, really. Like
Mm-hmm.
I respect the people who like people like Tim Hansen and the zombies community who was able
Yeah.
to come up the way that he did. Like that's almost like defying all odds. Like
Yeah.
that shit goes crazy.
I think that's why people liked Filthy Frank, because like YouTube had everything stacked against him, and he still was able to succeed. And then he ended up moving on and making a successful music career right after that.
Yeah, and I do big ups to him, regardless if you like the Joji music or not. Like, bro pulled off something that shouldn't have been done.
Yeah, for sure. So, is there any other like comment you wanted to make about like motivation or burnout?
Just a quick one. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Never do that. Don't compare other people to other people. I'll give a quick example. People like Josh and Darko, don't compare them. They're
Yeah.
friends, they're artists, don't compare them. You're not helping anybody by doing that. If anything, you're making both of them feel worse.
Yeah.
Trust. Don't stop. Just for the love of fucking God, stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing that everyone tells you is, be true to yourself and all that. Yeah, sure. But like also like remember that if you're comparing yourself with other people, you're not being true to yourself, being true to other people, and then comparing two people who, that to other people, you're making it harder for them to be true to themselves. So you're technically standing in the way of them
Yeah.
and standing in the way of their success and their happiness. And you're involuntarily being a bad person towards them. So in every way, shape, and form. The only type of comparison is a good comparison. If you say, yo, like you have like the same like production quality as like Josh A, like because his production quality is super good now, like doing it as like a compliment,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Saying, yo, you sound like him, like don't tell me I sound like him.
It's kind of
Like,
backhanded in a way.
yeah, it's unintentionally backhanded. And I know a lot of people who say this shit don't have ill will, but you really need to think about how what you say affects how it affects other people, especially content creators like you and I. Like, I'm sure if someone tried to compare you to, like, I know Lil Miss Mads did that Zach interview. If someone tried to say, yo, you're just like Mads, you're doing interviews with artists, like, you'd be like, well, I'm not fucking Mads.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, no disrespect to Mads. I love Mads and Zach, but, like, you would still be like, what the fuck is this?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, like I'm sure that at some point any comparison like that could ever be made, but like I feel like the like obvious statement of like, well, they didn't invent interviews,
Yeah.
that whole thing's got to come up at some point. But like, I don't know. That is an interesting point though, how you bring that up though, because like I just it's just interesting in general. This
Yeah, I see a lot of people like Even people comparing themselves to me, like at one point, and I won't name names for the sake of discretion, but in the community, I saw at one point someone said that they didn't feel like they were as good as me, and I'm like, I'm literally here to spread love and nothing but.
Hmm.
Nothing I'm doing should make you feel worse.
Yeah, that's kind of like that was my kind of like idea with this because like when I thought about doing an interview type thing, I had thought about obviously the Maz interview with Zach, but I didn't really want to like compare myself to that because I was like, okay, well, I want to do something different where I want to actually just sit like not as much of an interview, but also just sit down and have a conversation with them, you know? And
And it means more than you know to people that actually like. I know like watching interviews, like you can't really tell, but being in one for the first time, like the feeling, I don't know if you're feeling it too, but like the feeling of like having this genuine conversation, not only just to have this conversation with a fellow content creator who someone that I love talking to, but the fact that I know that it's going to be heard, like it really it makes me feel good.
yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that too.
And it's nice. And
Hmm.
it's beyond just oh, it's other people do interviews, yeah, but like, do you always get the same energy from everybody who does interviews? I'm sure like everybody gets it different, and I'm sure not everybody. You can't. It's like a snowflake. You can't match it up.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
not. You can't replicate that energy unless it's with the same two people. Like if
Hmm.
you and I did another interview 2 years from now, we'd have the same energy, at least for the most part. But like, if say you interview Nick next, it's not going to be the same type of conversation. Not saying that as a good or bad thing. It's just that's how it
Oh yeah,
is.
for sure.
And I think it's super dope. Like I'm glad that you decided to go through with it. And it's the same thing with music for a lot of these people and in the Double J community. Like it's okay to make a trap banger with a Halloween sounding melody just because Josh did it doesn't mean that you're biting him. But like if you're trying hard to bite him, it'll be noticed. But
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
you not it's not always going to be the same as him. Like
Yeah.
do you?
Hmm. I think that's probably a good note to end it on for the like motivation and burnout side of things. I had a question that was kind of a three-parter where it was what inspired you to make music or like what first inspired you to make music, what keeps you inspired and like what prevents you from losing motivation too quickly or even
Ooh,
permanently. And
yeah,
I
that's
feel
a
like
good one.
we covered the latter two, but I want to
Yeah,
know what got you like first inspired to make music.
Yeah, what started actually was my parents' divorce. I'd always thought music was cool. My dad showed me stuff like Linkin Park, Disturbed, Corn, like these cool bands. I thought that they were dope as fuck. He showed me these cool music videos. I was a little kid. I'm like, this is crazy. What the hell? And I thought that was dope. And I'm like, man, guitars seem cool. I'd always want to play a guitar. And I watched Drake and Josh as a kid, and Drake had a
Hmm.
fucking guitar. And I'm like, Drake is so cool, and he plays guitar. So when my parents started getting divorced, which is about 10 years ago, I needed something to keep me distracted, and guitar is where it was. And after all this time, I went to lessons for 3 months, and I'm like, I don't really like lessons. I know basics now, but like I don't want to learn your style because I liked my teacher, but him and I didn't have the same taste.
Hmm.
Um, and then I kind of put it down for a bit, but then I picked it back up and I just started playing a bunch of like Avenged Sevenfold, and I learned a
Hmm.
bunch of stuff, and then I just taught myself, and then I got a drum kit because I always thought I had a decent sense of rhythm, and I just taught myself, and it just kind of it all started off of I needed something extra to do while my parents were figuring all that out.
Yeah.
So it's almost like thank God they got divorced, which I could say for more than one reason because they're both really happy people now,
Yeah.
and they're both engaged, and they're engaged to good people,
Yeah.
and they're in good places in their lives. So
Hmm.
for more reasons than one, thank God my parents got divorced, yo.
Yeah. I can feel you on like the divorce part because my parents are divorced too. I was actually like was just born when my parents got a divorce, so I never really had to like I don't know if it's like good or not, but I never really had to like cope, I guess, if that's the word for it, where I never really had to like find a way to deal with their divorce, you know.
Yeah, you can't miss something that you never experienced.
Yeah, and so like when I was a kid, I was like, I was it was like childish, obviously, where it was just like, why aren't my mom and dad together? Yada yada yada. But as I grow older, I understand why and what's going on, and I'm glad that they're separated and they're doing what they want to do because they both seem happier. I don't know, but they seem happier not together. So, but yeah, on like your the note that you were talking about with music lessons, I had a few friends that had offered for me to take music lessons, and this was like 6th or 7th grade, and no, this was 7th because in 6th grade and 5th grade, I tried playing the recorder, but I had no sense
Ah,
of rhythm whatsoever. So I was like, no, I'm good. Like, and like as I grow older, I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar, but I just feel like at my age, I just feel like such a clumsy person that I just feel like I'd mess everything up.
oh, trust me, dude. When I started guitar, I was nowhere close to a pro. I don't even like consider myself like pro level now. I can say that I'm a guitarist at 10 years, but like you get to a point where like if there's two ways that you can go. You
Hmm.
either become a songwriter or a song player, and I became a songwriter. Now, if you told me to sit here and play any fucking riff from any song, I couldn't do it. I barely know anybody else's songs anymore because I care more about just riffing around in my own shit. But either way that you either way that you end up, when you start out, you break strings, you drop it, you feel awkward, you don't know
Hmm.
how to hold the fucking thing, you're messing shit up, breaking shit by accident, feel like an absolute buffoon. It comes with it regardless.
Hmm.
The only way that you can really avoid that is if you live with a pro teacher, like if one of your parents is like that,
Hmm.
then maybe you have the chance of avoiding it. But yeah, that fear of the clumsiness, dude, that comes with the trade, man. And
Hmm.
even like to this day, like I got 10 years of experience. Sometimes I still fuck something up, and then something breaks. I'm like, oops, shit.
Yeah. I've had a
But
little bit of a experience with a guitar, but I think it really capped out at learning the melody to "Smoke on the Water." I think that was literally
no.
the only like riff I knew how to play. Exactly.
Yeah,
We had
dude.
numbers assigned to
If,
it.
if you play that at a guitar center, they kick you out because that's like it's like that. Really, dude? Like you came into this store with $1 million worth of instruments and you played that shit. Get the fuck
Get
out.
the fuck out of my store! I don't want to hear that shit. Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, dude. I remember the first time I played Smoke in the Water. I'm like, yo, I'm a badass now.
I'm so cool. That's how I felt too. I was like, "Whoa, I did something, and it didn't sound like trash." Oh my god!
Yeah.
And then I
But then
saw it.
like
uh,
you see people playing like Thunderstruck and you're like, fuck.
Like, how do you move your fingers that fast? It's not fair.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's one thing I'll say is building finger stamina, and this is where all the inappropriate people are going to start to make their jokes. Go ahead. But
Mm.
yeah, but building finger stamina is like now, like I literally can't move my right hand fingers as fast as my left hand fingers. My left hand fingers are like I can go. I'm tapping my fingers on the desk right now just as like a reminder, and like I'm moving my right hand fingers. Like my left hand fingers are just insanely like loose, and I can just go absolutely nutty on them. But then there's my right hand fingers that when I try to move them like now, like as a comparison, they just feel slow and like disoriented. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God. Like I can like, a lot of picking comes with like wrist movement. And then a lot of, chord shapes and, like figuring out like shredding and shit. That's all fingers, man. There's barely any wrist work involved. So then it's just weird.
Hmm.
It's
So,
absolutely obscure.
yeah. So in your talk about guitar and stuff, you mentioned something about 10 years in the future about being a guitarist, and so I want to kind of go down that rabbit hole about your future.
Yeah.
So I kind of have two questions that are similar here, so I'm just going to do like a two-parter.
Yeah.
outside of the PA boys in KMD, are there any artists you could see yourself collaborating with in the near and distant future? And I mean like on a vocal track, because like you mentioned
Yeah.
that you had bought some beats from Z-Wall, but do you
Yeah.
think, like, for example, do you think you'd ever hop on a track with Zach himself?
We've talked about it a few times. We've said that definitely at some point it'll happen. When we first had the talk, I wasn't anywhere near as experienced as I am now. So I'm sure if I brought it up to him, maybe he'd be more inclined to. But I know he's exploring some different routes right now that don't necessarily line up with mine. So I feel like once the right time happens, it'll definitely happen. And I know Wubbs and we were talking about stuff for a while, and he said now like if I have an open verse at any time or open part or anything, like, and I know the specific one that I'd want him on, he just says, go ahead, send it. Like for you, it's free because him and I go back. And yeah, so I definitely want to get a track in with both of them at some point. Uh, Obviously, I have one with Jimbo coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm super excited for that because it's nice to like get someone off the fly and just get to learn like about them while we're like making all this stuff. And then another person, like I know everyone like wants to work with their idols, but I view this guy kind of more as a friend than an idol anymore. I would absolutely fucking kill to just spit some shit with Jordan. And
Oh yeah.
another example also would be Darko because I get to talk to them a bunch, and like I'm not like a stan boy. I'm not like a like super fan or anything. Like I support them. I support them more than anything, and I gravitate towards them more than Jake and Josh. Even though
Mm-hmm.
I've been luxurious enough. I was literally just talking to Josh tonight. Um,
Wow.
and it's not like a flex thing either. It's like I try to like I don't like the idea of idolizing people too much.
Yeah.
I like to let them know that like there's respect and like
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're a person because I'd want people to be the same way with me. Like, don't treat me like I'm some sort of fucking god because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. And they're not gods either. We're all people.
Mm-hmm.
But Darko and Jordan, they are extremely underrated
Mm-hmm.
and their styles are just so distinct. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that if I had the chance to mix my distinctness with theirs, either one of them, we could really form something beautiful. And when the time comes that I prove myself worthy of their time, and when our interests line up sometime down the line, I'm gonna be the first person to fucking hop on that, and it's gonna be fucking crazy because I could for sure like those are goals I'd want to do because as much as I do consider them friends, we talk often, we're friendly conversations, and we're not like best friends. It's not like it's oh yeah that's my old pal Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
you know um but yeah, these guys they're just solid fucking dudes,
Mm-hmm.
and they make dope ass fucking music. And I feel like there's definitely some time in my future where maybe shit would line up. Maybe they hear part of a song that I released and like, yo, wait, whoa, what the fuck? I didn't know that she was like this now. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, well, shit, man, you trying to work? But
That
that'd be dope.
that reminds me of this thing. I was scrolling through my camera roll the other day because my phone is kind of a POS, and so I was clearing out my camera roll for storage, and I was scrolling through and back on July. Do you have any recollection of what you tweeted on July 11th?
Was that around Get Your Girl at all, or the Get Your Girl freestyle?
I don't remember
I don't know.
specifically.
Was it on there?
If you
I don't
don't, that's
know.
fine. If you don't,
Yeah, I don't know.
so
Yeah.
on July 11th, you tweeted, "Waiting for the day a bigger artist randomly comes out of the blue and asks to work with me, so I can just post something like hee hee." And then the song comes out like 3 months later, and I retweet the hee hee with yeah that or something. I don't know. I had it written
Yeah,
down, and
dude,
that was
I have
fire.
that bookmarked. I have that bookmarked.
I have
No
this.
fucking
I
way.
screenshotted that tweet all the way back in July, and I'm holding on to that just so you know. But
Oh shit! Well, you'll be the first to know, man. You'll recognize when I hit him with a he. You know.
that's yeah, because like I have like the video of Nick saying he's going to bed, and then he collapses on the bed, and then I have a few other, and then I have a few other pictures of stuff, and then I have that tweet, and I was like, wait, what is that? Oh, it's that one. So when you were talking about that, it just reminded me of that. But have you? I know you mentioned like proving yourself and stuff, but have you had like serious talks with Darko slash Fody or Jordan about actually hopping on a song with them, or is that just like still up in the clouds as
um,
to
I've
it
had it.
happening?
I've had it with both of them actually. I said to Darko's actually who introduced me to Breakins' music.
Mm-hmm.
Right when Rozier came out. So right before Breakins Blue, he's like, dude, listen to this shit. And we both agreed that like listening to him makes us both want to quit music because there's nothing that we can do that could top that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Rozier came out, we're like, what the fuck is this, dude? Oh, that shit was crazy. And then he was also talking about he likes Versace a lot. If you guys don't listen to Versace, you're missing out, bro. My Life Inside is an absolute fucking classic, yo. He's got that, and then Mind Games are two of my favorites. Um, he's like, dude, I would kill one day to work with Versace, and like I'm like, dude, you could easily. I could see you getting there. He's like, dude, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, it's the same way that I think about like working with you. Like, I would love to work with you, but like, I'd prefer you to have I prefer to have you as my friend first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
we never work together, if we never or if, say we work on something and it never comes out, that's fine. I don't care. I'd prefer to keep you as friend that I support
Yeah.
rather than friend with business because
Mm-hmm.
Darko has a specific bar on I think it's Scraps where couldn't have friends without business or something. And
Mm-hmm.
that shit has always like struck a chord with me. And the only two or three, maybe even four exceptions of that are Nick, Connor, KMD, and Lost.
Yeah.
Especially Lost recently. Him and I are becoming good friends, and like Lost and I have never talked about getting on a song once, but I brought that up to Darko once, and we haven't really talked about it much again. And I'm not the type to, but he originally was gonna have a verse on Amnesiac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I made
Holy.
it and put it out. He's like, "Why didn't you like get me on this?" I'm like, "Well, do you want the instrumental?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna record my verse on it." And he
Wow.
was gonna put it out, but some shit got in the way, and that never happened. But I still think about how cool that could have been hearing
That
him
would have
go
been
off on some shit like that.
fucking sick.
Dude. Well, what could have been? But I know he's a busy guy, and
Oh, for sure.
he's got a crazy life, and the fact that he even has time to fucking answer me is dope as fuck. So, and then when it comes to Jordan, in our whenever he goes live on IG, you'll always see a point where he lets me hop in. And
Yeah.
that's super cool of him. And we always bring that up and we talked about it in DMs too. Like at some point we're definitely gonna make something happen. I don't necessarily he hasn't obviously we're not close enough that he's like sent me what he's working on. I don't know what his new stuff sounds like. So I get the style. Like he's played a bunch of snippets on IG Live and like he's posted snippets. And he's talked about the style that he's going. I don't know exactly where he is in that headspace. So I have the email that I need to send him stuff. So I'll let him know before I do if I ever get to that point where I'm like, yo, I got this. Like, I need you. I want to see what you consider, but like, I want to wait until he puts out more, and I want to wait until I put out more. But we talked about it; it'll definitely happen at some point, and that's words from him,
Mm-hmm.
and I can prove that. I'm no bullshitter. I'm not like talking this talk to seem like I'm above everybody. Like
Oh, for sure.
these are just dudes that I've gotten the privilege of getting close to. I don't see them anything more as dudes that I support. And I know that, a lot of people have like the idol complex and like I used to be like that, but I feel like it's with getting older and getting the experience that I got so fast. These are just dudes and I would love to work with them even if we never released the song. I would listen to it to my I'd listen to it myself every day. Like,
Yeah.
it was just dope to have.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jordan also brought up an important thing of building your own solo brand. Like, build yourself first before you really go for big collabs, because you don't want a big collab to define you.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I'm glad I have people like Nick, Connor, K and D, even Lost. Even though we don't have like anything, like we're all about at the same playing field, and even
Yeah.
Jimbo too. We're all at the same playing field. It's not like they're crazy huge and I'm sitting here like a hello, I'm so small, or like vice versa. So like I kind of want to, let some time pass before I really like hit up either of them and be like, yo, I know we're cool like that. I don't want to get like too businessy with you because I think that's bullshit, but do you want to make a song?
Yeah, I get that.
Have it be more of a casual, like, because now, like, when I hit up Nick, and I hit up that, they're not coworkers to me, they're friends.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes we work on music, sometimes we don't.
Hmm.
And I want to, build those relationships with tons of people. Really get a cool like circle of fucking artists to work with, so that I'm not, I love Nick and Connor and all them, but I don't want to only make songs with them forever. I definitely want to expand my horizons. I'm sure they do too.
Yeah, for sure.
So like having those two on my list, and being able to even consider the possibility of that is super super fucking dope.
Yeah. So I like where you're headed with that. So you already kind of mentioned about size, and by the way, I think just today, or it was in these last few days here, you hit 7,000 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
Con-
Thank you. Yeah, I only just saw that today.
Congratulations on that. I know that you're not really a big numbers guy, but that's pretty
Thank
cool.
you, thank you. Yeah, we submitted Sayo and Lost Cause to some bigger rap playlists, and our growth has been consistent. And people say like, oh, well, did you pay for the placement? Yeah, we threw a little bit of money to get it in a playlist and stuff like that. But the thing is that it's real people listening to this, because what happens is you throw it in there, it gets popular for a minute, but then like it's a matter of people adding it to their own libraries,
Yeah.
and actually listening to the song, because streams only count if you listen to more than 30 seconds of a song. I usually give a song 20 seconds, and if it's not good, I'm skipping.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
like I'm not gonna sit here, like, if I can tell like this isn't for me, I'm not gonna waste my time. i'm
Hmm.
i'm picky. I'm getting pretty picky these days.
Yeah.
But like, you can't just throw a shit song onto a playlist and expect to blow up. And it's
Hmm.
not like cheating either, because we had growth before that too. But now it's a matter of just who sticks around from that. And I've gotten new interactions on Instagram and Twitter, and I get all this cool stuff. And yeah, sure, we paid to throw a song in a playlist, but like, there's nothing wrong with that. And
No, not at all.
I'm just glad the fact that I've seen it's been different for other people, because Connor put some of his other songs on there, and Sayo and Lost Cause alone have had different statistics. Some things perform better than others,
Yeah.
and it's nice to know that I have quality enough music that I can put it out there and actually have it be received on on an underground level.
Yeah, for sure. That's like been the cool thing about like being in the whole community is that I get to like watch artists grow. Like I've gotten to watch you grow and Nick and Connor and even KMD and Lost. Just watching you guys grow as artists, however you are doing so, and even getting to be a part of that support has been really special. Like when oh god, what was it? What was the one that you were telling people to stream with? What was it? Prophet? It was Prophet
Yeah.
and what was the other song?
It was Prophet and fuck, what was it? Oh my god. Was it Tragedy?
I think
I
it was Tragedy. It was Tragedy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to run that up, and people went fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. I think I had like my YouTube playlist going the entire time I was on my computer when I was playing. And I had
Dude.
no problem with that because one, I enjoy listening to your music, and two, I got to
Thank
support one of my friends, and it was just getting to be a part of that is a really special experience, and I'm really glad
thank
that
you, man.
lots of people like kind of going back to the inspiration thing. I'm glad that this community can inspire people to build others up and kind of convince them to do their own thing. You know.
Yeah, man. And it's I've always been a part of like the pushing other people. So seeing people like pushing me for once, like and like
Hmm.
having that like happen, every day is still just so fucking surreal. Like it is, I couldn't ask for anything more. Like I know I have my quarrels with the community as is, but like at the end of the day, the fact that there's a group of people inspiring a group of people anywhere, it makes me feel good. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that I don't just look at my quote unquote supporters. I don't like saying the word fans. I think the word fans is fucking stupid. At least because I feel like fans is too one dimensional.
Yeah.
Like people like you, like although we don't talk like all the time or anything, like you're my friend.
Yeah.
You're not you're a supporter and a friend, and it's the same way that I view it with like Darko and Jordan, like supporter and a friend. Don't call me a fan. I wouldn't call you a fan. Like
Hmm.
it's weird like that. Like it's more than that. It's a connection.
Yeah. One dimensional is actually a really good word for it because it kind of like you could like have conversations with the person and actually be their friend, but kind of saying fan kind of writes that off and makes it just seem like you're just in it for their like love and affection, like some people are, which is not entirely great, I suppose. I don't know. So,
Yeah, I feel that.
I've got two more questions in this category about music creation for you, and then I've
Right.
got one question that I've been kind of putting off. So,
Ooh.
um, who are three quote unquote well known artists that you'd love to collaborate with in the future? This is like the part two to the last question. And
Yeah.
I specified that with it could be of any size of artist. It could be people like Josh who have like a few million monthly listeners, or people like Breakins who have a few 100,000 monthly listeners, or people like Jordan who have a few like 10,000 monthly listeners, or however many Jordan's at right now. I haven't actually checked
Yeah.
in a while. Or like Travis Scott who have millions of monthly listeners and
Yeah.
plenty of fans. Who are three quote unquote well known artists you'd love to collaborate with in the future?
Number one is an obvious pick for me. It's Nothing Nowhere. Nothing
Yeah, for
Nowhere is
sure.
fucking great, dude. Literally all hits, no misses.
Hmm.
I love Nothing Nowhere. Absolutely talented son of a bitch. To be able to hop on anything with him would be an absolute just blessing. Because him and I feel like we connect in the sense of where our inspirations come from,
Hmm.
and his music really strikes a chord with me, and that it really it's just so filled with like substance and like heart and like grit, and it's so fucking good.
Hmm.
Dude. Number two is a different pick than what would be expected. It would be my favorite band, Beartooth. To be able to
Hmm.
hop on any one of they're like a mix of like kind of mixing like ACDC and like but like way harder.
Huh. Okay.
And it's not necessarily metal, it's like really hard rock, and it's thrashy and like punky and like shit like that. And the lead singer Caleb Shomo, he is basically the Josh A of rock and roll.
Really?
He writes all the music for the band himself. He records all the instruments himself. He does just about all the mixing himself, all like the production and stuff like that. All the music is coming straight from Caleb and Caleb alone. And sometimes, like he works with like other industry guys or like some of his friends for like co-writes, but 95% of it is Caleb. And then when it comes to playing live shows, he gets some of his best of friends and they play the instruments with him, and he gets to perform his music. And he is Beartooth along with his friends. All the music comes from him. And like that's super like him and Josh were like the big inspos for me when it comes to like I really can try to do all this by myself. Like
Yeah.
you don't need a band. You don't need all these co-producers and all these co-writers and stuff.
Hmm.
So those are my first two. And then when it comes to a third, see, this is like those two are like always like set in stone for me. The third one, like it always rotates around, but if I'm being honest, I think it's still Darko because there's something about Like he really has this stroke of genius in him, and the versatility that he brings between things like Mistress, Sleep Well, Faster, Pain, and then his upcoming stuff. Like from that snippet,
Mm-hmm.
like that's like some indie pop shit,
Mm-hmm.
and that's so fucking dope. And to like when it comes to like, when it comes to Beartooth, I know what type of track I'd want to make with them. When it comes to Nothing Nowhere, I know what type of track I'd like to make with him. But when it comes to someone like Darko, I'd be cool to do anything.
Yeah, for sure.
It could be Mistress level, it could be Migraines level, it could be Faster level, or it could be this new indie pop way that he's going. Because he told me he was going in a different direction, and then he posts that snippet the next day. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Hell
Yeah,
yeah!
that's what
So
I like
yeah,
about him. He's very versatile. Like even from like On Drugs all the way up to Faster, you can see both his progression as an artist and his range as an artist. And I'm sure he's like you said, his new stuff is gonna extend that even more, which I'm really excited about.
exactly. And that's one thing, to go back to a previous question about like pro tips for like becoming an artist and a musician. Try to be versatile. Like, don't ever just like, if you have one thing that you're good at, don't let go of it, but don't be afraid to try other things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was my whole thing for a while, is I felt like I could only do stuff like properly Monster and Profit. But this next song that's about to come out sounds like, not any of those.
Is this the one with Jimbo?
Yeah, uh, it's got no elements of any of those three songs, and that's honestly why it's probably one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Is I have a bunch of songs that are like those, and they will come out when they're ready. But like, I like to do other things too, like Finale and Shaking. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because those are two of my most well received songs,
Yeah.
and they're the two to which that stand out the most in terms of versatility.
Yeah, I've told you in private before. I really fuck with Shaking.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Mm-hmm. So we've had a lot of talk about your future, and you mentioned, like I said, the guitarist thing in 10 years. But where do you hope to see your career go within the next 5 years, realistically?
Well, realistically, the first thing that I have to talk about, and it sucks, is money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd like to have enough money that I'd be able to sustain myself. I mean, I'm in college for an IT degree, and that'll be able to sustain me, and I'll be able to do like a full time job with that. But I'd like to be able to work an IT job, but not full time, and be able to rely on music financially as well.
Yeah.
So that, and also not being full time. Maybe I work 4 days a week instead of five,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be able to settle for that if the music helps me cover the other one. And I get that, I get more of that time to work on my craft, because then it's like, it's hard to get the burnout when you're only working at your job 4 days a week and you get 3 days during the weekend. And while I'm at my job, I'll be, the hunger for the music is going to come in. And then, by the time that I'm at the end of the weekend, it's like, man, I got a lot done. And then back to work. And by the end of the work week, it's all right, time to get back in it. Or I can take a weekend off. So
Mm-hmm.
realistically, I'd like to have, a fan base that's, like, and this is where I have to bring this up. Love Jake, love Josh, respect them. Thank you guys for it. I doubt that they'll watch, but if God forbid someone clips anything, uh, appreciate what you guys have done for me, especially musically, in terms of giving me the courage to do what I do. But I want fans that aren't just fans of Josh A and Jake Hill. Like, well, I appreciate the community, but I want fans of me who are fans of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be fans of other people, don't get me wrong,
For sure.
but it feels like the majority of my fan base. I hate that fucking word. That's the supporter base. The people who listen to me mainly come from listening to Josh, and that's fine. But like, I would realistically 5 years from now like to have the so that they're not the majority. No
Mm-hmm.
offense.
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
Because I mean, technically, you would fall into that category too, but at least you're not like the type that compares me to Josh, and
Oh, for sure.
which is the God bless you for that. But like I want people from all over, just different places. I want to be able to work with people like Wubs and like get people who listen to him and were like, who the fuck is this guy? Like really pull in like new people,
Hmm.
really pull in like my own sort of community, I guess, and have it in a way that we're a really open place to really express our feelings through music, through videos, through anything.
Hmm. For sure.
Whether and whether it's just me or if it's all the PA boys, which I would love it for it to be all of us, all of me and the close guys. But at the very least, I'd hope that me and all them, whether it's together or separate, we can do all that. Have that kind of they're here for us too, not
Yeah, for
just
sure.
Josh. They're not here just because of Josh or
Hmm.
anything like. And it sounds weird. It sounds ungrateful, and it's weird to talk about because like
Hmm.
I appreciate the community for giving me the leg up that I got, but I think even now, and I'm speaking on behalf of me and my friends, I think it's time we move on from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Get our own,
Build
that's
something
why
of
we're
your
trying to
own.
stick to. Yeah, that's why we have our group, and we want to do that while it's still early, instead of you know, I we had talked about this before we started the recording. I had a YNA cover, a hard rock cover that I spent so much time on. It's got acoustic guitar, electric guitar, it's got drums, it's got strings. It's fucking crazy. It's 85% done, and I'll never finish it. It's
Hmm.
been at 85% done for over 2 months, and the uh, the whole thing is, although I like it, I started to feel, I want to work on more original stuff. I love the covers, and I'm gonna do more covers for sure.
Yeah,
But like, I don't think I'm gonna do covers of Josh songs or Jake songs because
it
I
kind
don't
of
want to be
ties you
stuck
down.
in. Yeah, I don't want to be defined by them.
Hmm.
However, I will always look at them as people who helped me start where I am. Whether
Hmm.
like I'll be honest, I've fallen out of love with Jake's music, especially with his most recent EP. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
you know, it didn't have much to offer.
yeah, I was gonna say it was like I'm not trying to dog Jake, obviously, but
Yeah, yeah, no, neither am I.
it
And
was
in
it
the most
was
respectful way possible, it kind of seemed
it was a low effort EP.
half-assed. Yeah, it kind of seemed
Like
half-assed, and
I'm
I'd
glad
want
that
someone to be honest with me too if
yeah,
it was me. But
because
yeah,
like I'm glad SMD is on streaming services, but again, the entire community wanted an extended version. Obviously, he doesn't owe that to us really, but
yeah, no,
everyone like I think it would be good if he added an extra verse just to celebrate it being on streaming services. And then
yeah,
I
and
like
then
Nothing
nothing.
Left, but
I don't.
you don't like Nothing Left? That's fair.
Yeah, no,
I
I thought it was like I could tell like it wasn't sincere.
yeah, I get
Didn't
that.
it didn't feel like it had real substance,
I get
and
that.
I'm critical of that just as I am critical of my own music and critical of everyone else's. Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna like beat around the bush.
for sure.
And I'll be honest, I think Grim Peaks too. I didn't like it at all. Really,
Really?
I like Plague.
Hmm.
Like especially for the beat that and a lot of his delivery. I thought we were gonna get some yelling, but we did
Yeah,
not.
that's,
So I was a
that's
little upset. But it just felt like Grim Peaks 1.5 or maybe
that's
even like Graveyard 2. It kind of felt like that. And I feel like we were kind of spoiled because Josh went from, like Revenge and the Disgrace era into Mood Swings and YNA, which is just such a step up.
for real.
And then
Yeah,
and then
completely
we
agree.
and then we got and then we got some of the same shit that we've been having from before that. And I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
that's when
so
you brought up Grim Peaks 2 being like Grim Peaks 1, I had originally filmed my reaction to the EP when it first dropped, the night that it dropped, when he was just like, "Oh, here it is. Go ahead. Bye." And then I was like, "Oh, okay. I think it might be interesting so I can listen to this." So I listened to it. I'm like every time that a new track would pop up, I'd be like, oh, this is like the sequel to this song where it was like Plague was like Grim Peaks, Dead by Daylight was like I feel no, not I feel nothing. What was the second
I,
track off of the original Grim Peaks?
I don't feel so good.
That's what it is. Yeah, like
Yeah, I
it
feel
felt
you.
very like that same kind of vibe he was going for, which I can understand, but like I don't know, it felt almost too perfect to be a coincidence that he laid it out what felt like perfectly the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just didn't have a lot of variety. Like it didn't bring anything new. It literally just felt like Grim Peaks one B-sides.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of me bringing all this up isn't to dog either of them because,
Yeah,
like
for
I said,
sure.
respect to them regardless. No matter what. I just I can acknowledge when I need to do my own thing and I don't want to be tied to them forever. And to love everything that an artist does is impossible. Like they're not perfect people.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I'm sure not every release I've done. I don't even love everything I've done. Like so,
Yeah,
it's hard to expect other people to. But yeah, I think it's really about us in 5 years being in our own place,
yeah,
and
for sure.
and still being able to respect and like listen to and like appreciate Jake and Josh, but like not being associated with them.
Yeah, I get that. So this question I've been putting off was originally going to be in the uh, double J category, which has been almost like an hour and a half ago. But I've been putting it off for a while just because like it's kind of a heavy question. So if you don't want to answer it, you're more than welcome not to. That's why I'm
I'm
recording, so
so
I can
in.
cut whatever.
I'm so
Um,
in.
so in general, or even as specific as you want to be, how do you truly feel about the Josh A. Jake Hill community?
I got two words. It's shit.
That's fair.
I will not beat around the bush on this one. And I know I'm not alone. It is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
At least now it is. It was not always this way. When I first showed up into this bitch, it was not this way.
Mm-hmm.
When the Liren thing happened, around then is when it started getting fucked up.
For sure.
I mean, obviously he was partly to blame for that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of stuff that I see and hear from people in the community or who are figurehead quote unquotes. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that we or they, I don't even. I'm at the point I don't associate myself with the community anymore. Not
Mm-hmm.
because of just wanting to be my own person, but because you guys fucked this up. Talking to you, community. I expected better. The way you handle drama, like, listen, Keanu's my friend. Him and I have agreed to disagree on a lot of things, but he's my friend. The way y'all handle his shit makes you no better than him. Y'all cry about no more indirects. Indirects are bad, but I saw everyone who said that indirect him last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's funny.
That's
We there
mhm.
it is a shitty held standard even ever since, and this, ever since the fucking Double J Fan Haven, there was the whole like the hierarchy with like the mods and like co-owners and shit like that. Like there was some fucking weird shit going on. Like
Like what specifically?
I saw like there was some drama with like gens, and like I'm cool with all these people, and this is like way in the past. There was stuff with like gens, and like I
Mm-hmm.
heard that like there was that one dude who like needed to be banned. Like there was weird, like everyone's just so dramatic. There's so much drama, and I get that drama is something that you can't escape, but I think I figured out the main problem that I have with this community, and that was a big portion of why I took my break was why don't I feel happy with Tony? Not only I needed to focus on other stuff, but why don't I feel as happy with Tony with like my burnout is that everyone in this community likes to act like they're something.
Yeah,
We
I can
all
agree
like
with
to
that.
act like we're big, like I have 7K monthly. But if it was me half a year ago, I'd be acting like I'm kind of top dog, even though I didn't care, much about numbers then. I'd still be acting kind of like I'm hard, but I realized that it's everyone thinks that we're something, but really, like, we ain't shit,
I was gonna
dog.
say we ain't shit.
We aren't shit. I ain't shit now. I've never been shit. And that's not putting myself down. That's straight up just how it is. And everyone likes to act grown. Everyone likes to act like they're all that. And this is all this is all with love. I'm just telling y'all how it is. I'm not coming at anybody here because everyone's been guilty of it. Even me. I've encouraged drama before. I've been a part of it. Like, we're all in the wrong for this, but I want everybody to get better with me here. Y'all fuel hate with hate. Y'all breeding this shit. And y'all don't stop. Y'all like to preach peace, love, and positivity. But then y'all indirect the man instead of actually DMing him.
That's
Fucking DM him. Don't DM me. Why are you? I don't understand why people were DMing me. Like, I'm not his dad. Like, I am not responsible for him. I'm not responsible for Nick or Connor. Connor's a white man. He could go onto the timeline and spam the N word. I'm not responsible for him. Like, that's not my problem. That really, like, that will be my problem with him in the sense of, yeah, well, we're not friends because that's fucked up. But, like, what do you want me to tell him? Oh, stop. Why should you listen to me? Who am I?
that's the way you just said that. Just all I hear is the like "Let Her Go" guitar playing in the background. But it's funny because you brought up the indirects. I was having the same thought, to be honest, last night, because like I didn't want to like I was gonna tweet something, but I was like, you know what, I don't need to do this. There's nothing forcing me. There's no point in me feeling this for any reason. Like I didn't yeah, I didn't really approve of what was going on, but I had no control over it, so I just ignored it for a while. But like it's weird seeing people being like, y'all keep indirecting each other, but by saying that you are directly indirecting somebody. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah, it's
don't.
crazy. Like, this whole community used to be all love. Like, January, when Connor, Nick, and I were popping for the first time, like, that was like peak stuff because like y'all were like into us, we were into them, we were all into them together. Like, we were all building each other up. There was no drama. Everything was just hype and happy. But then
For
time
sure.
started going by and shit just started changing.
I don't even know
It's
like
like crazy.
I don't even know really where it came from because like I've obviously have had my personal problems with people, but I'm pretty sure like every person that I've ever had drama with, like even back from January, every person that like I've ever had problems with in the past, I've talked to and actually become pretty good friends with. Like I used to
Yeah.
get into stuff with like Otis, I think his name is, or OU.
Yeah, that was yeah. I remember him, Otis.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
used
he
to
was
be
one
a
of the people that
toxic
made. Yeah,
trolling piece of crap. I don't know, shit.
yeah,
But and I used to not get along with him whatsoever. And I was like, you know what, dude? I don't even care anymore. I don't have anything against you. Who cares? He's like, oh really? Yeah. And then me and him
yeah,
became pretty good friends. But like,
yeah.
it's just I don't know where it really went wrong. I suppose the Liren event is really where it began.
I That's the only thing that I can pinpoint, and I don't even feel like it's fully accurate. And
Yeah.
like, for the people who are still watching and they were like, "Yo, Tony just popped off on the community," I'm sorry. Like, I've been sitting on that, so to let it out, that
Well,
felt
yeah,
really good.
that's that's
That
that's
felt
why I
really
wanted
good.
to do this, is because I didn't want
Ooh.
like that's like I wanted you to talk about what you
Yeah,
wanting to
this
talk
this is
about.
the platform.
But yeah, this is the place to do it, and I'm glad that you're
Yeah.
willing to open up about it. Cause like,
I, and I appreciate you letting me have this chance
yeah,
because, like, I've been, and it's not just me. Like, yeah, I hate to say that a lot. This is gonna split some people. Some of what Keanu said last night. This it's the 12th now. Some of what he said I can understand. Obviously, I understand both sides. I don't pick sides.
hmm
I think both sides are wrong, equally so. But like, some of the shit that he says about the community, I look at that.
he's
I'm like,
right.
true. I'm like, this true is no cap.
Yeah,
Like, is he saying it in the best way? No, but does the point on its own, written on paper, make sense to me?
yeah.
Yes. And I
That's
don't, and it's not just me. And I just think that this community used to be a great thing, and now it's not. And there are things that I know about people that I wish I didn't know. There's some people who say and do shady shit, and I'm not the type to expose anybody. I'm not gonna fucking like go off and like that, but I'm just saying, like, I am at my wits end. I don't want to be associated at all. I wish everybody nothing but the best, and I hope that everybody can grow with me and use me maybe as like a template for how you're feeling. Like, it's okay, you can talk about this. Like, I feel like we're at a point now where, like, if you talk poorly about the community, everyone's afraid they'll be crucified. Even I am. Like, I'm like, I didn't want to tweet anything to say much last night. I didn't want to. I felt like I'd be saying the wrong thing and people would get the wrong impression. But
yeah.
like, y'all, it's okay to complain. It's okay to know that this shit's fucked up.
Hmm.
Like,
It's
there's a lot of work that we all need to do on
mhm.
ourselves, and I'll be the first to acknowledge that I
Yeah.
am far from fucking perfect.
Oh
And
yeah.
part of what's going to make me better is getting the fuck out of this community, because y'all aren't helping. Yeah,
It
like,
yeah.
there's the people who stick around, like you, like you've always been supportive, and there's the people who will follow you anywhere you go. But like, if I say I don't like Grim Peaks too, people are gonna
How
jump
dare
down my
you?
throat. Yeah, how dare you not like something Josh does? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of like my thing is that like lately the fan haven has been better where people are more tolerant of other people's opinions. Like we had a your sister we have like the question of the day thing and your sister put one that was like what's like your most controversial take on Double J music? And everyone had a differing opinion. I my personal like take about Josh was that um I don't think that Disgrace is all that good. And I
Yeah.
also said that what was the other one that it doesn't really matter what it was, but we were all able to share about it and not like come off toxic about it. But then like it makes me me and Jens were having a conversation about this a few months ago, and like it makes me a bit sad to think about it because like I feel like it's the most blatantly obvious progression of how the community has grown, where there's like back in like January, February, March, we would have VCs every night. We would have people blowing up the server. We had you, Nick, Connor, we had Z Wall, and then we had Jake join, and it was really crazy, and life was great. And yeah, I had personal drama and stuff, but that's aside from the point. But then like one specific memory was like in VC, I was at my dad's house one night, and me and Z Wall had like a 20-minute conversation about the Minnesota Vikings, my home state, and my home
Mhm.
football team versus the Eagles in like 2017 or 2018 in the Super Bowl like semifinals, I think it was, or quarterfinals or something like that. And we were just having a conversation about that, and I was like, "Wow, that's a really good memory." And then I just look at my server, or not, I guess it's not my server anymore, but I look at the server and I'm just like, "Wow, things have really really changed, I guess. I don't know. It's
Yeah. I
it
think it's a weird mix of people growing up and some people not growing up as fast.
mhm. And like
I'll say that much.
yeah, and like I don't know. It's just a weird time, honestly. I I'm sure that I doubt it's that big of an impact, but I feel like in some realm COVID had to have played an impact on that. Maybe people are
For
home more and
sure.
getting stressed more and then people agitate them online and then they freak out and yada yada. But
Absolutely. Yeah. I think since COVID started, there's been way more drama. And like, I'll always love the foundation of the community and all that, but like,
yeah.
a lot of them are, it's okay to be sensitive, so I'm gonna say it. A lot of them are sensitive. So then the one or two people who aren't so sensitive, who let some shit out that affects the sensitive people don't know how to react, and that's okay because that's part of life. And I just hope that, obviously, in the grand scheme, the community doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
Just whether you support his music or their music, or not, you don't have to be in a community to support.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, just continue support. And I hope that people learn a lot from this. And I certainly have, and that's why
Yeah.
I want to consider myself out. Is I think I've gotten everything that I can from this. I've gotten great friends. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten great opportunities. I've gotten so much advice, and like I've gotten everything that I could ever ask for and more. And I just know that there's just a lot of negativity here. And like I said earlier, I was being negative tonight, and I was literally just thinking about that. And I can compare it to the weird negative shit that comes from the community, and how shit like that just trickles down onto me. And like a conversation that I had tonight with someone, they said to me to focus on my art and focus on my positivity, and only good things are gonna follow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about my size in the music world. As long as you love it, that's all that matters. And the the person also said, I think the best outlook on life is just not to engage with negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said that they think I've fostered a good place in this community, but there's always going to be outliers starting problems. And in the end, I'm no perfect man, like I said. And it's with almost a heavy heart that I look at this thing that like I think about how the server used to be popping, and we were all in there, and it was dope as fuck. And those were some great nights, but times changed, people changed, new people came by, old people left or got kicked out or like whatever. Like, we're all people who change and adapt to the world, and the world's in a fucking weird place. And there's we should be focusing more on love during this time. And you got to do what's best for you. And to love myself, I need to push myself away from this double J thing. And I will support their music how I feel. I will listen to what I want to listen to. I'll interact if I want to interact, but like I don't want that label. And it's really,
Yeah.
this is the only way that I can really say that I don't want to be associated, is I have to come on this and say I'm done.
Yeah.
I have to tweet it. I have to say I'm done, and I speak for me and the boys too. We're out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to go away from the people, but we want to go away from the label.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like, obviously, I don't have as big a platform as you do, obviously, but I think that I'm currently at the point where I'm just like, you know what? I don't like this anymore. It started off innocent, where it was just like, I just want to listen to Josh A and J Kill music with other people that like them. And it was that simple, and it wasn't anything really more than that. It was just trying to make friends on this simple basis of we like Josh A and J Kill, right? And then over time, it kind of just it like the way I see it, it's kind of just like become overgrown. It just kind of was like this prospering statue of whatever we had, and then over time, like vines grew over it, and all this shit happened on it, and it just like I don't know. I don't like. I guess the best way I can describe it is like you know how like knocked on Toten is, and then
Yeah,
like the way that I can compare it is the way that Knocked looks in the new Cold War trailer, right? Where it's
fire.
broken and it's covered in graffiti and it's just not what it once was. You can tell that
Yeah,
what it was is still there, but it's covered up by so much age and decay and graffiti and all this other shit that I just don't want. It doesn't feel like it anymore, you know?
yeah,
And that's like
and
where I'm at because like I've made a lot of really good friends through this community, and it feels like I don't know. To me, it feels like if I say I'm done, I have to say goodbye to the friends that I've made, because like I feel like sometimes the only way for me to escape the drama and all the shit that happens is to just unfollow and block everybody that's associated with it, and I don't want to do that because in doing so, I'd have to unfollow you, I'd have to unfollow Nick, Connor,
Yeah.
lost KMD and all my other friends that I've made. I don't want to do that. So like I'm caught in this crossroads where I don't know what direction to go. I could just full send it and stay in, or full send and hop out. I just don't know.
Yeah, and I can relate to that in the sense of when I was on my break, I considered not coming back to Tony. I was gonna just disappear forever and start fresh somewhere else. I had considered it heavily because I was like, well, shit, maybe that's the only way that I can get out of this. And you know what? I decided I I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up on this just yet. I think I can still carry Tony out of this. And although it's just weird because it's not something that people ever prepare you for, and it's not something that you get talked about. You know, it's not a common occurrence. But I think that there is a way for us to break out of this without having to leave everything that we have. I think that there's an easier solution that we're just not seeing.
Yeah,
And I think part of that is something like this YouTube video, this interview and stuff like it. I'm gonna talk about it in my music in a non-toxic way. Like
mm-hmm.
I know I kind of just came at you guys, community. My bad. This do happen. It's okay to let out some aggression. It's okay to let out frustration, but to be toxic and to not, that's a completely different thing. We don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. We want to move on with our lives in a polite way. And I think that this community is practically not a community anymore. I think a lot of us are in the same boat. I think we're good. We've done what we can, and that's that. And we just want to, you want to do your thing. You want to build your own community with the YouTube, and I want to see that happen for you. And I think that you can do it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just like it kind of just feels like the opposite of kind of what I expected, because like I thought it would be on the premise of we meet on like the idea that we like Josh and AJ Kill, and we meet and we just become friends and hang out and listen to music together and stuff. And then I thought that over time we would become closer and yada yada yada. And yeah, people can't always get along, but it felt more like we were becoming more like the community itself became more distant with each other versus becoming closer with each other. You know?
Yeah, and I think it's all on us. Like
Mm-hmm.
we, I mean, we were given such like a powerful idea and such a powerful energy with this community. How the fuck were we supposed to know how to handle it? Like, it
Yeah.
goes back to the idea we ain't shit. We don't know anything. We're not grown. Like, I may be 20, but there's a lot of shit I don't know.
Yeah. And fuck. Oh my god! I just realized I turned 17 in 18 days. Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir. Happy early birthday, man.
Thanks, man. But
Welcome to the old guy club.
God, but like even then, like I'm still a fucking kid. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to like how to make people understand stuff and how to like be there for somebody. And I just feel like it just feels like everybody was ready for the idea of a community, but then as we all started to grow up, it just didn't really work out, you know?
And that's okay
Yeah.
because we all got what we could from it, and I'm sure that right now it looks bad to us, but in hindsight, you know what, I like to have an optimistic view, and this is a quick thing because I feel like we're coming up near on the end of this
Mm-hmm.
that I want to leave everybody with is notice how I went in on the community to start. I said this is shit, like this is fucking ass, like you guys fucked up, but I'm ending it on some optimism.
Yeah.
It's kind of like some of Logic's songs that are like darker. It starts dark, but then it ends on the optimistic note.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to do that than to start with the optimism and end on the shit
Yeah.
because you can let out all this irrational and pent up frustration and let it out, and then you process that you just let it out, and then you start to realize why you felt that way,
Yeah.
and you really start to connect with yourself and realize exactly what you need to do and what is best for everybody and what message you're really trying to send and how it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And I encourage everyone else to take that mindset too. So like
Mm-hmm.
if you're watching this and you want to just go off real quick in a video or a song or a tweet, go ahead and do it. Just make sure you're not being toxic. Go ahead, let out your frustration, but remember to end it with the optimistic thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. I see the 5 years in the future. I can look back and be appreciative, not resentful of this community. And I appreciate everything that I got from it, all the friends that I've made, all the people that I've gotten to talk to, because we tend to focus on the negatives too much, and that's what gets us fucked over. Like the
Yeah.
conversation I was having with my mom tonight, I focused way too much on the negatives when she was trying to be positive, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt really bad. And I don't do that often, and you got to catch yourself in these things so that you don't make the same mistakes. And a lot of what I do, I try to make sure that when I fuck up, y'all can understand that I want you guys to learn from my fuck ups. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you guys making the same mistakes because you're about to be 17. I'm obviously older than you. There's a lot that I went through from 17 to 20 that defined me into who I am now, let alone from 16 to 17.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to give as many teachable moments as I can because I just want everyone to, it's like that meme, or like I don't even think it's a meme. I think it's a line where Spider-Man says to Tony Stark, "I just want to be like you," and Tony Stark says, "I want you to be
I
better."
wanted you to be better, you.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the whole thing. The entire point is right there.
Yeah. It's really. I have faith that the community can bounce back from this. I just think that I think
No,
like
we
you
did.
said, videos like this are gonna really help that. I think that more people just need to be willing to have conversations about it instead of like I call it shallow tweeting, where it's like spread love and positivity and yada yada yada. Like you can say that, but do you really mean that at the end of the day? Like, do you? I don't know.
Exactly.
But like you can say that stuff, but I feel like conversations really need to be had. And like, yeah, obviously not everyone's gonna get along and not everyone has to be friends, but I think if we're really ever gonna like use the term, like I still say community, but I feel like at this point that's like I guess the best way I can describe it is like an umbrella after a hailstorm just has a bunch of holes in it. It just feels like an umbrella term that has a bunch of holes in it. It doesn't really
Yeah.
feel like it covers a lot, but it still covers some things. It's just like a weird thing that we gotta. I don't know. I think it right now it's on the bounce back, but I guess only time will tell. But I think that your mentality, and I assume that Nick and Connor's mentality is the same, where like you guys just
Yeah.
want to get out and build your own brand, is like
Yeah.
the best thing for you guys.
Yeah, and I would love to be able to, in a year from now, see the Double J community popping, all positive, all hype, all happy. I would give anything to see y'all get back to that same level that we were all at earlier in the year. And I partially blame 2020 for it. It's just been a shitty year on all of us. So I want all of us to do better, all of us to get better, all of us to get to the peak that we deserve to be at, because that's what I believe we all truly deserve, no matter who the fuck you are, who you were, what you done. Like, I want to see everybody strive. I want to see everybody thrive. And sometimes it doesn't always seem like we all want to be that way, but it's okay to be down and out. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be fucked up.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to stay true to yourself. And if staying true to yourself doesn't consist of looking out for everybody else, then what are you really doing?
Yeah, that's a good note to end that section on. You can probably see why I put that question off for that long.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big one. I'm glad that you put it off because that's a big one. I like that. That was a good run.
All right,
I think that
so
I think that that's probably some of the best shit that we got.
yeah. Okay, so right now I'm running on about 11 questions, but half of them are rapid fire game based
Yeah,
questions.
I was about to say I'm cool for some rapid fire shit. Let's get out of this serious bag that we're in. Damn.
Sorry, it's apparently raining outside now, and there's like the storm window that protects rain from getting in the windows. So I was wondering like what that pitter pattering was. I thought it was my printer, but apparently it's raining.
All
So,
good, yeah.
all right, so we got 6 rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes, fucking sir.
Number one, what was your favorite game as a child?
Favorite game as a child had to have been Call of Duty Black Ops 1. That shit went so hard.
Agreed. Number two, what is your favorite game right now?
Favorite game right now? Crazy to say this, but it's a weird tie between Among Us, Fall Guys, and Warzone.
Wow, that's
For very varying different reasons. It's super fucking weird. Fall Guys is more of a solo thing. Warzone is small amount with the boys, and Among Us is casual with a bunch of people. It's a nice mix. But right now, as soon as we're done this, I know the boys are begging me to get on Warzone, so I'm loading up my game in advance.
all right. Sounds good. I won't keep you that long then. All right.
Yeah, no worries,
Number
no worries.
three, what is your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game of all time has to be Call of Duty Black Ops 3. The zombies go so hard, bro.
Agreed, bro. That okay. Then I have a build off of that. On an Instagram story, I think it was yesterday, you mentioned your top 5 favorite games, which was Black Ops 3, Halo Reach, Mortal Kombat X, Injustice 2, and Galaga. I'd like to do just a few questions based off of that, starting with what are your favorite Black Ops Zombies maps? Not Black Ops 3 specifically, but just Black Ops
Yeah.
in general.
Moon number one. Everybody sleeps on it. Y'all sleep
Agreed.
on Moon. I love Origins. I love DE. I love Mob. Nick and I will agree. Moon is some of the best shit. I understand why some of y'all don't like it, but for me, shit hits so hard. Another good map, obviously DE. We love DE in this house. We fucking we stand DE. I honestly, and this is gonna sound weird, I really like Zet. I don't know if it's one of my top ones, but I need to make that known that I appreciate Zetsubo no Shima,
That,
and
that
people need to stop being fucking so mean to it.
I can agree with that. That is a good map. I can agree with that.
It's not a. I don't think it's one of the greats, but I definitely think it gets slept on more than it
It's
deserves.
definitely underrated. It's not really one of my favorites. Like I don't ever play it
Yeah.
solo, but I can definitely understand why people really enjoy it because it's a good map.
Yes, and another that I like, I love Shang.
Shang is good.
I like Shang because it's really hard.
Yeah, Shang is a good challenge.
And then we'll pick an easy one. I really like Rev. I like Rev more than most people do.
Really, Revelate. That's a good
Yeah,
pick. It's a lot of my friends don't really like it just because it's barely original at all. But I think
and that's
it's
fine.
I think it's the easiest map to just pick up and play out of Black Ops
Yeah,
3, other than the Giant. I'd say.
yeah. Those are like the only two casual maps in BO3. So the fact that we ended on something casual felt really good. That
Bringing it
it
back to
felt
the old days.
refreshing. It didn't feel like I had to run across the entire fucking world to do some steps to get a wonder weapon. Nah, dude. I pop an ammo. I get a thunder gun. It's that easy.
Give me the Thunder Gun now. All right. So
Yes.
so we've got what? We got Dryzen you said?
Yeah. The.
Zet,
Mm-hmm,
Rev, Shang.
mm-hmm.
What am I missing? It was the first one.
Moon.
Moon.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are
Those are
my
good
top
picks.
two.
Those are good picks. I
Thank you.
Moon is a very polarizing map for a lot of people, which I can understand because it's kind of a pain in the ass.
For sure. Yeah.
But it's definitely a good map. All right. So then, who was your main in Mortal Kombat X?
In Mortal Kombat X, I was a big Triborg and Scorpion. I liked Sub Zero. I loved the Smoke variation of Triborg because Smoke is slept on. I love
Agreed.
Smoke. And MK9, I rocked Smoke all fucking day. I was King Smoke. You couldn't fucking stop me. Shit was ridiculous. But obviously, easy go to is Scorpion. His overheads were just fucking fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
and teleport combos are fun. I like faking out the teleport because everyone expects you to teleport spam. But I used to play low key competitively, so
Yeah.
I went hard in the paint with that. Cyber Sub Zero was fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cyrax and Sector, but not as much as Cyber Smoke and Cyber Sub Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I really like Takeda. I'm sad that they didn't bring him
I
back into
yeah,
NC11.
I was a big Takeda player when I played.
Yeah, dude, he went fucking hard in the paint.
Hmm. All right, so then build off question from the last one and this one. Who was your main in Injustice 2?
Injustice 2, I was a big Red Hood guy.
Yes,
I
let's
like
go.
I love Red Hood. Batman, obviously. I'm the up close brawler type. I like to
Yep.
go for the fucking crazy combos. I liked Green Lantern a lot, actually.
Bro,
A controversial pick. Not a lot of people liked him. Him and Green Arrow. I actually really liked both of them in that game.
I shit you not, I was a Red Hood, Green Lantern, Sub Zero, Black Manta main
Yeah,
in
I was about to
Injustice
say
2.
Sub Zero and Black Manta too, dude. Because everyone's like, "Oh, you play Sub Zero? Just play Mortal Kombat, dude." He was so good in
His kit
Injustice 2.
His kit was basically like invented for tearing apart like zoners like Deadshot. That's why I liked him,
Exactly. And
especially once you,
Deadshot was cracked on launch. So it
dude.
was
He really
nice to
was.
have some fucking, once they introduced Red Hood and fucking Sub, I'm like, all
That's
right, bro, it's over.
that's why I liked Red Hood so much, was because I love being able to close the gap, but create a gap as much as I wanted to with the dives. And like once you unlock the, I think it's level 10 meter burn, where you roll and then you put an explosive on their chest and it kicks them up so you can continue the combo. That
Yeah.
shit was the most fun thing
So
ever, dude.
so hard, yo. Oh my
So
god.
fun. All right, so then the final rapid fire gaming question is: who is your favorite character from Reach?
Oh. All right. So everyone, there seems to be a stigma for people liking Emil and Carter. I
Hmm.
love Emil and Carter. Emil over Carter. Emil's probably my number one. But if I want to
Yeah.
talk about a controversial favorite real quick, is I love Jun. Like Jun is so fucking like I don't know what it is about his cocky sharpshooter fucking bullshit
Do people
and
not
his
like
art and
him?
his. I don't see him getting as much favoritism as everyone else.
That's weird.
I see a lot of Carter favoritism. George is the fucking I love George, yo.
Reach just has good characters, to be honest.
Dude, all great characters. Even Noble Six, you barely know a fucking thing about him, and
Hmm.
he's great.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jun is low key slept on. I've always fucked with him. I like his armor. I like the sniper aesthetic, and like I would love to see him and Emil. Like if they had like a duo story, that'd be so dope.
Yeah. We need
Yeah,
like,
you have the shotgun sniper combo. Oh,
I know that like it's not very likely, obviously, but
yeah.
we need like a Reach story with the characters again, or like having a
Seriously,
spin-off
man.
story with some of the characters or one of the characters, because like it obviously had a very unique cast of characters, and like I think what gives a lot of the characters just the weapons and armor they have. That's just a big
Absolutely.
thing, because like I think a lot of the people like Chief could Master Chief could be dressed like any other military personnel, except he's not. He's dressed in this giant green bulky ass armor. Isn't he like 6'6"? He's fucking ridiculously tall.
He's like 7 feet tall. It's
He's he's
ridiculous.
a giant. He's like it's like Shaquille O'Neal, except he's wearing battle armor, and he's
Yeah,
running
dude's
around.
cracked.
He's running around with an AR, and he's got like a 6 foot vertical. It's scary as shit,
It's
and like it
fucked
just
up.
not only is like the one liners that he has like fun and unique, but also just like the way you run around as him on the battlefield, or the way you shoot, or the things that you say when you get shot, or something like that. It just adds so much character.
Damn straight it does.
All right, so then now we're on to the last section of the video, which is the questions from other people in the Double J Fan Haven.
Hell
So,
yeah.
number one is from Zelik, just a single question. Will there be any merch in your upcoming releases? Do you have plans for your upcoming merch releases?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Number two is from your sister. Uh, she says, "How's it going with balancing college, work, and music?"
Absolute pain in my ass, but I manage it somehow. Usually it's I have to focus on two and put one on the sideline for a little bit. But and by that one is either putting school on the side or putting music on the side, but it, it could be worse. I'll say that.
Hmm. So from user Exotic, he asks, How long does a beat take to make alone? And then I added something onto that after that as well. So feel free to answer.
Uh, it varies. It depends on what type of beat, but usually the premise comes to me, and I can fully like get the patterns going and have the full structure going in 30 or less minutes. And then mixing is something that I will continuously tweak until the song is fully done.
Okay. And then something like the thing I was adding was something I want to know is how long does it take on average to write lyrics for said beat?
Another thing that's kind of it varies, but usually I like to take my time more on the lyrics than the beat because the beat and like rhythm and shit can come to me naturally, but like lyrics now I take my time because I want every word to like really impact. So
Yeah.
lyrics, to really get it going, I like to have a few sit down sessions with it and I'll draft and then revise. Usually, if I'm really like sitting down and working on it, a full day.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. So then we have two questions from Tato. He did the reproduction of the Plague instrumental off of Grim Peaks 2.
Oh shit, that's
Uh,
dope.
he says this is, and I quote how he wrote this. He says, "Rate the Travis Scott burger 0 to 10 based on hamburger."
Yeah.
His exact words.
I'm gonna have to give it and it's lit.
That's a good answer. And then another sub question I actually wanted to ask was what would the McDonald's Tony meal look like?
Oh shit. That that John would come with a chocolate cookie dough, chocolate chip cookie to start. I'll say that before we even get to the burger. I'm just saying it's coming with that. It's got to come with some fucking crazy that and like a chocolate shake. Like you get like a milkshake because I'm a big chocolate guy.
Yeah.
And I love having like anything chocolate with like any fucking like meal like that when it comes to fast food. Burger would have to go. It would have to go hard. It would have to be kind of like my music where it's kind of all over the place. So I'm a big cheese guy. It'd basically be like a triple cheeseburger with maybe some like I'd have to think about some sauce combos, but maybe a bit of bacon in there. I don't know. It would have to be some crazy weird like triple bacon cheeseburger thing
Yeah.
that's just like no average person looks at that as like I need that all the time. Maybe I don't know, but like they're like that's definitely different. I can respect that. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like say some shit like that.
hmm That's yeah. All right. And then Tato's second question is actually serious. He says, "Do you have any tips for anyone who's trying to feel more comfortable while recording vocals?"
You really, it's the more that you do it, the better you feel. Also, you need to pick a good environment and make sure that you're like if you the problem I have is I do all my homework and I do all my schoolwork at the same place that I record, but I like to do all my homework on the left side of my desk and I record over on this open right side. Excuse me. And it's almost like I'm in a different area because I'm looking away from it.
Oh yeah.
So it's really like you gotta just make sure that the actual environment that you're in is good.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a basement, a subsection of the basement with closed doors, so I feel isolated.
Yeah. For sure.
And I know that you can't really hear me too much from upstairs. I mean, you kind of can if I'm like screaming, but like then I don't really mind.
hmm
But like when it comes to the singing, you'll probably barely be able to hear me, and when it comes to the rapping, you probably won't hear me at all. So
hmm
like I really like I look at this like this floral pattern that I have hung up for soundproof and like these pillows, and I had the mic, and regardless if I'm screaming about bloody murder or if I'm singing about how I'm sad, yeah, I feel comfortable, and
Yeah.
it's taken 2 years for me to get comfortable, and even there are still some days where I don't feel fully comfortable, and I have to just like I usually what I like to do is I'll sing along to another song that's like super intense just to really like put myself in the music, really get myself going, just fucking go absolutely as hard as possible.
hmm
Maybe don't like do it in an emotional way. You don't have to like do like a pitch perfect performance of the songs that you're doing to warm up, but really get yourself going. Like and it sounds like it's obvious. Listen to music before you record, but like really just fucking go off with it.
Yeah. That's a good way to like view it. Question. I saw the
Hmm.
way Connor records where he was standing up. Do you record standing or sitting?
Mostly standing. But I do sitting when I go for calmer stuff sometimes. If I really want to feel relaxed, or if I want, because I have some like really like calm rap in the works sometimes. Like
Yeah.
if I really want to keep it calm and I keep it quiet and I keep it like this and I keep it like that, everybody, and like I like to do like sitting down, just like eyes closed, memory. Like yeah, I got my lyrics in the memory. I really just spit it as if I'm sitting down because I think it's actually like the vibe of like I think sitting down is really for that like calmer shit. And somewhat like the beginning of shaking, I did sitting down, and then as it got more intense, I did it standing up.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's a personal preference,
Hmm.
but like I think of it in the way of like the vibe. Like if I imagine myself in like a music video or like on stage, like in a performance, like if I'm doing some calm shit, like I'd want to start like sitting down, and as it starts building up, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get hype, I'm gonna stand up, and I'm like I move around a lot.
Yeah.
It's gonna go crazy.
I guess that's actually a good way of looking at it because like I kind of always like imagine that sitting was more for calmer stuff, and standing was for more aggressive or like I guess emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And then the final questions, two from our man Jens.
Yes, sir.
He
I
says
love Jins.
can we expect any EPs or albums before the year ends?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. His final question: can we expect with any stuff from you and Z-Wall or you and the PA Boys in the near future?
Yes.
Good to know.
Won't say which one for album slash EP and ZWall slash PA Boys or which of the PA Boys, but I will say at the end of this year, leading into the beginning of next year, there are some very, very promising things in the works, and we've had plans, all of us, just whether solo or just together. We've had some plans for a long time now, and now we're getting fit to execute them. And I think that you guys are really gonna. I think you guys are really gonna fuck with this shit.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you. Also, Jens, you're the man. Appreciate you, homie.
So that does it. We've been talking for like 2.5 hours. What the hell?
Dude, this was fun as hell, yo.
This was
I wanna
really
hear
good.
that.
So yeah,
God.
I'm just gonna do the funny outro thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm not good with outros. I'll just have my music play. Um, yeah. So actually, Tony, quick plug your stuff where they can find you.
Yo, 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 you can find me on Twitter, T0ny Music with a 0 instead of an O because I came from nothing and I'm never going to forget that shit. So I appreciate everything that you give me. Same thing, Instagram, but an underscore between T0ny and music. You can find my shit on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Deezer, Google Play, every fucking obscure ass streaming service under just T0ny, T0ny, T's capital. I got a bunch of hard boy shit, some fucking like screamo rap. I've got singy songs. I'm gonna have R&B, boom bap, rap, everything that you can fucking expect. Anything that you want, you tweet it at me. I'll make some shit happen down the line. I really want to get to know you guys. I want to interact with you. I want to spread this fucking love, and I appreciate y'all for giving me the time. Thank you.
Yeah, this was great, honestly. So you guys make sure to go check him out. Tony's incredible. Make sure to check him out. Stream his music. Check him out on YouTube and all the other platforms he mentioned. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys whenever. Peace.
But a good time only fades if we let it. If you wanted me to stay, then you probably should have said it. I was caught up, growing up and forgetting. Spot you at a party in the middle of the winter. My been through the clouds, I'm rolling up a spiffy from a little beach town to pulling up in the city. Gotta get away, I gotta roll. Easy to say, but hard to let go.